be there. I thought if people could just
Can I record this?
sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Go ahead.
So
23 years, Artist Alley.
23 years ago, I was in Artist Alley, and I think the first year I actually crawled under the table and cried. I did not want to be here. I couldn't talk to people. People would ask me, "How much is your art worth?" I'm like, "The print is $20." Like, I didn't even know how to answer. Talking to people over and over and over again because I didn't value my own art. Oh, maybe that's what I would tell people.
Yes.
I would tell my earlier self, "You have value in your art that you don't even understand." Because I didn't understand that at the time. I had to learn that.
So I have him and her. She's like, dude, your art is valuable, but as artists, you think that it's not enough.
See?
You think that it's not enough, and that's so weird. When did you broke into the next level?
Oh man, it took. Well, here's the thing. Just about being here, I'll get to that part in a sec.
Okay.
Just being here, talking to people was difficult. It took a couple years to kind of warm up to actually want to come back. I didn't want to come back because it was so difficult for me to talk to people. After a while, I kind of got a little comfortable, but I'd still be kind of like an athlete who's in the locker room, and they're like, yeah, I got this. And then you run out there and you do the thing, right? And that's then what it became. And then there was this moment where I shared an experience with a collector who bought an original, and they weren't going to buy it till I told them what it was all about. And I told them, and it was very personal to me. Which, again, here was the vulnerable part. I had to share something that was very, very personal to me that I thought people just liked because of the way it looked. And they could buy it and take it away. And after his response to that artwork, I thought, I need to be here. Not, I have to excite myself to be here. I have to get ready to be here. This is where I want to be. And it changed everything about my art. Not just how I proceeded forth in talking to people or preparing for a show, but how I created my art too. Changed everything.
Drew, thank you so much. Like, you really have no idea what you said. It's I'm going through it, and it was like, just ask, and I was like, oh, okay.
You do just ask. You just do the thing.
And then you're good at it.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, that's why I have my 3 things. I call them my 3 Ds.
Okay.
Desire, dedication, determination. You have to have all 3 to be successful at being a creative. You miss any one of those, it's not going to work. And a lot of people say, oh, I wish I could do what you do. And I'm like, do you really? Because if you really, really wanted to, you'd probably be doing it. The thing is I didn't do school. Like, I didn't do college, really. I didn't have classes. I've had influences in my life and a couple of things a little bit here and there. But most of this is learned through trial and error and a lot of error. But I just kept at it because I wanted to. I loved it. And I wanted to be more. And I've been sticking it out and still challenging myself. I still force myself to be uncomfortable. I am not going to sit here today and do the same thing I did yesterday or last year because I now make good money at it. That's the easy route. And to me, that's boring and uninteresting. I now seek out ways to go, what can I do different this time? That's not just for the sake of being different, but it's meaningfully different.
It is meaningful to you because you wanted to do it. And like you said, you don't have to do it anymore, but you're like, no, I want to do it.
Yeah. And that to me is the exciting part. There's no more fear anymore in walking to an unlit path.
And then, so us looking in, right? You're like, wow, she has it all. Like, she's super confident.
It took years.
But it took years to get
there. Yeah. And I'm very grateful, again, for all of those opportunities that I've been offered. And some of them where I was like, I don't want to do that thing.
How many opportunities you wanted to say no, and it was like the best thing you did? Has that happened
Disney
to you?
was one of those.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. I've had that license since 2013. And my initial response to the guy that walked up, who happened to be a rep with Disney, and I didn't even know it at the time. I just thought he was a random guy. He said, have you ever thought about doing Disney? No.
No.
Would you ever? No, probably not. Well, here's my card. I don't want to do this. Whatever. And then that guy over there says, what are you talking about? Just do it. And I'm like, but I don't really want to. He's like, do it your way. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So then I started doing it, and then it became like a thing. And not just because I was doing it because it was Disney. It was, I could take stories and turn them into something far beyond the characters that people just say, I love. If I can have somebody come up to me and say, I do not like the movie Lilo and Stitch, but I have to have this piece, I've done something right. Because you can't excuse that for anything else other than Lilo and Stitch.
At the end of the day, when you look at the piece, you can look at it both ways, like Lilo and Stitch. But if you don't know anything about it, it's still a beautiful piece.
And that's what I want.
I want
people to be moved by the artwork.
Okay, so when I look at your work, was Rembrandt a big influence?
Absolutely.
Okay, so the golds and all that stuff, the way that he makes his greens and stuff. Because a lot of people's like yellow. I'm like, no, that's not what makes gold. But yeah, when I saw it, I was like, Caravaggio and Rembrandt. And for me, Caravaggio is like the Charles Squirrel. Is
Yeah.
where it's at.
I grew up with the great masters. My dad was very, very strict, so I was not exposed to any pop culture. All of this is most of this I have no clue what it is. I'm still not in the know. But like I grew up with like very little music, very little TV, and art was curated for me.
Exactly.
So I only saw some things. But I grew up with the great masters. I listened to classical music. Like I didn't do all the things that your average kid did, and now as an adult that's like absolutely flavors my work. And there's other classic artists that just
So who would be another one?
well, all the great masters did, like, you know, Michelangelo, even there, you can see some effects there, and Da Vinci and whatnot.
Good evening. Thank you for attending.
That was out.
Yeah.
They're like, get out.
2026.
Woo!
Woo! See you all next year.
There's some more recent ones though. The pre-Raphaelites of the late 19th century. You know, so like Bouguereau and some of those, that's some influence there. And I even love some of the Art Nouveau artists, you know, Alphonse Mucha, and there's been some early influence there. I find that my art more fits in terms of like similarity to the pre-Raphaelites, because what I see in them is not necessarily the same art, but the approach.
Influence.
The approach is taking a classical influence and making it relevant to what the narrative is for your time. And even though they romanticized everything, it was very true to the Victorian feel. And what I've done in my artwork is I feel kind of the same way. I want to take that classical flair and take the narrative approach and make it relevant to our time. So in that same vein, it's very similar.
You nailed it.
So thank you.
Yeah. Dude, thank you so much for your time. I know I took way longer.
You're totally cool.
Thank you so much. Your energy was amazing. Thank you. Peace.